Today on Rappler, a disastrous week for the aviation industry with the crash of an Algerian plane and a Taiwanese jet days after the MH17 crash. And President Aquino faces a third impeachment complaint, this time over the Philippine-US defense deal. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. It has been a disastrous week for the aviation industry. Early Friday, the Air Algeria plane that went off radar is found. The Burkina Faso Army locates the wreck 50 kilometers or 30 miles north of the border in the neighboring country of Mali. French President François Hollande says there were no survivors on the Air Algeria jet. Interior Minister Bernard Cazeneuve says bad weather most likely caused the crash. Flight AH5017, which took off from Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, bound for Algiers, had 116 people on board. The airline says there were 51 French, 24 Burkinabe, 8 Lebanese, 6 Algerians, 6 Spaniards, 5 Canadians, 4 Germans, and 2 Luxembourg nationals on board. On July 17th, Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 crashed in eastern Ukraine, killing all 298 people on board. On Wednesday, a Taiwanese aircraft crashed in southwest Taiwan, killing 48. More bodies recovered from the MH17 crash site in Ukraine were flown to the Netherlands Thursday. The first group of the 298 dead arrived the day before, Wednesday, which was declared a national day of mourning. 2 planes carrying a total of 74 coffins landed at Eindhoven in southern Netherlands. The retrieved bodies were taken to a military barracks near Amsterdam for forensic examination and identification. Each of the corpses were carried by individual hearses. The Netherlands lost 193 citizens in the crash, and it heads the investigation. The casualties come from a total of 12 countries. Police say at least 80 forensic experts from all over the world are helping the Dutch identify the bodies, which could take months. Taiwan's TransAsia Airways runs an apology on the front pages of 5 major newspapers Friday. The air carrier pledges to shoulder the utmost responsibility after 48 people died in the crash Wednesday. Flight GE222 had 54 passengers and 4 crew on board when it plunged into the Penghu Islands. 10 survived, some of them badly injured. TransAsia says it will collaborate with authorities in probing the cause of the crash. Israeli fire in Gaza takes the Palestinian death toll up to 808 in a little more than 2 weeks. An airstrike on a house in the Gaza town of Deir al-Balah kills 2 women, one of whom was pregnant. The baby the woman was carrying was saved. This comes as Israel continues to press on with its 18-day campaign to stamp out Gaza rocket fire. Nearly 100 Palestinians were killed Thursday, one of the bloodiest days of the conflict. Projectiles fired into Israel killed 3 civilians, and fighting in and around Gaza killed 32 Israeli soldiers. It is the bloodiest conflict in the Palestinian territory since Israel's 2009 military operation. NGOs put the Palestinian civilian toll at around 80% of total casualties, including a large number of women and children. In the Philippines, President Benigno Aquino faces a third valid impeachment complaint. This time, it's on the defense deal between the Philippines and the United States. At least 21 complainants filed the charges at the House of Representatives Thursday. They say Aquino entered into an agreement which, quote, surrendered national sovereignty and compromised our territorial integrity. Complainants say the defense deal violates constitutional provisions banning the presence of foreign troops and bases, as well as the use and entry of war materials. They also lambast the executive for signing an agreement that was not ratified by the Senate. Under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, the U.S. can build military facilities and bring in defense assets. New Armed Forces Chief General Gregorio Catapang says, this is a free country. You can talk and you can file cases. Leftist Makabayan coalition members endorsed the complaint against Aquino. The first 2 impeachment complaints on the president's spending program were also endorsed by members of the Makabayan bloc. Anti-graft court Sandiganbayan orders the transfer of Janet Napis to a jail in Camp Bagong Diwa in Taguig, a move opposed by NAPOLES. Prosecutors earlier asked the court to order her transfer, arguing that Fort Santo Domingo in Laguna is not a jail. Napoles's lawyers say security risks warrant her stay at the Laguna facility. Napis faces plunder and graft charges for channeling lawmakers' discretionary funds to bogus projects. In another order, the Sandiganbayan orders the suspension of Juan Ponce Enrile from the Senate. The suspension will take effect for 90 days unless a motion for reconsideration is filed by Enrile's camp. Under the law, public officials facing plunder charges are suspended from office. Enrile's lawyer, Estelito Mendoza, says the suspension of his client is up to his co-legislators at the Senate and not the Sandiganbayan. Enrile faces plunder and graft charges and is accused of plundering 172 million pesos from public funds. Rappler takes another look at the special audit report of the Commission on Audit, or COA, on the fund diversion scandal. It reveals at least 3 more former legislators who may also meet the same fate as Senators Enrile, Bong Revilla, and Jinggoy Estrada. Based on the figures, 4 lawmakers may have received at least 50 million pesos each, the threshold for plunder. Their former Senator Edgardo Angara, former Surigao del Sur Representative Prospero Pichay, and former Malabon Navotas Representative Alvin Sandoval. Former Sarangani Representative Erwin Chongbian died in 2013. These lawmakers reportedly received kickbacks for funneling their development funds to bogus non-governmental organizations or NGOs controlled by scam orchestrator Janet Napis. In her COA report, Angara was identified with 7 NGOs, while Pichay was identified with 2. None of these NGOs are Napis related. After being identified in the COA report, Angara claimed his PDAF-funded projects were real. Pichay said he wasn't approached by Napis for his pork barrel. Sandoval was identified with 6 NGOs. 1 was associated with Napis, Pangkabuhayan Foundation Incorporated. Chongbian was connected with 5 NGOs, with 4 of them linked to Napis. A more thorough investigation will be needed to fully prove the involvement or the innocence of these lawmakers. A magnitude 5.4 earthquake rocks the province of Southern Leyte Friday morning. Governor Roger Mercado says all classes were suspended in 6 coastal towns. The local government spent the day to assess the extent of the damage caused by the earthquake. In a report, FIVOC says it's expecting damage and aftershocks in the areas hit by the quake. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 5, authorities in Norway increase security in all possible entry points from airports to train stations after receiving intelligence reports on a non-specific but credible threat posed by jihadists returning from war-torn Syria. Neither the target nor the identity of the militants are known, but Oslo's intelligence chief says there's a possibility of a terrorist attack in Norway. Between 40 and 50 individuals with links to Norway had fought or are fighting in Syria. At number 8, the Philippine Bureau of Customs arrests a woman named Herminia Castillo in Pampanga after she allegedly misrepresented the Bureau as part of an online scam. Castillo's modus involves posing as foreigners befriending Filipinas online, promising gift packages. The scammers will then send the potential victims an email, purportedly from the customs, saying the package contains valuables. It would only be released once tens of thousands of pesos are deposited in a designated bank account. And at number 9, dogs tend to get jealous of anything that catches their humans' attention. Researchers from the United States say the behavior stems from a survival instinct. Scientists asked the owners of 36 dogs to play with 3 different objects: a toy dog, a toy jack-o'-lantern pail, and a pop-up children's book in front of their dog. More dogs reacted to the toy dog than the other 2 objects, dog snapping at the toy and trying to get between the owner and the toy dog. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page. That crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have affected our readers and viewers the most emotionally. If you take a look, these 10 stories have gotten the most number of votes on their mood meter. We see here today from the DUPE, Aquino Senate allies help the admin defend DAP. We see 66% angry, 21% happy. Interesting shift there. The Air Algeria plane, 90% sad, 7% afraid. This was about this time, a little earlier than this time last night. And interestingly enough, so we've got the plane, and now we have the impeachment complaint, the third impeachment complaint. Philippine president faces third impeachment complaint. An interesting 86% amused, 6% annoyed. This blue bringing out the mood of the day in others. I guess here's a small blue also in Iglesia Ni Cristo story. That blue coming out. Today, most people are amused. It is an amusing Friday. That is Rappler's newscast for today, Friday, July 25, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.